So I was wondering this morning about some of the tefillot, some of the prayers that we say every morning. Where are they coming from? What is it that speaks to our hearts? And whose heart was it that spoke to them when they created these prayers? In our Siddur, in our prayer book, there is a section in the very beginning every morning called Psuke de Zimra, verses of song, that are pretty much a warm-up, an emotional preparation for the more serious work of the Shema and then the Amidah, which are later sections of every morning's prayers. These verses, if they're called Psuke de Zimra, you presume that they're about song and lightness, or pure praise, whatever that might mean. But the truth is, when you look at the language, some of it is original rabbinic, and some of it is an edited version of some biblical text. Well, a lot of it comes from the book of Psalms. And no matter who wrote it, some say David, scholars say not David, but no matter who wrote it and when it was written, the fact that we recite it in the morning is significant. What is it that we are trying to say? What is the meaning behind it? Not perhaps the literal meaning of the words, but what's behind those words themselves. And so what I'd like to do is look for a moment at Psalm 30. It's called Mizmor Shir Chanukat Habayit LeDavid, which ostensibly is a song for the dedication of the temple that David himself didn't build, but it might be named for him as he established Jerusalem as the center, and his son Solomon created the temple itself. And so it begins a psalm of dedication. But what is that temple itself? Maybe we could understand a dedication of a temple as the establishment of a safe space. And you'll understand why, as we go into this psalm, the notion of safe space becomes very, very important. It begins, Aromimcha Adonai ki dilitani, velo simachta oivai li. I praise you, Adonai, because you have raised me up. You have not given my enemies anything to celebrate. Now, if I just established how this is a psalm for the dedication of my safe place, of my sanctuary, my temple, then this notion of praising God for having raised me up becomes very, very significant. What is it to say, God, you have raised me up, I feel safe, you didn't allow the things that would bring me down to succeed? And it gets a little bit deeper. Adonai Elohai Shivati Elecha Vatir Pa'eni. God, my God, now it's very personal, it's I language. I called out to you, and you healed me. Adonai He'elita min she'ol nafshi, chitani mi'ardi vor. Adonai lifted me from Sheol, that is the Hebrew word for hell. God, you lifted me up from the depths, my soul from the depths. You gave me life when I was in an abyss, when I was in a pit. So put this all together as the introduction of the psalm. God, you lifted me up from the pits of despair, and therefore I call out to you with praise, acknowledging that my safe space is something essential. And remember that we recite this every morning. So not only is my safe space essential, I need it constantly. When the morning is beginning to break, but yet the darkness of night is still around me, I call out to you, God. And then it becomes, again, poetic to give it a context of a prayer, and it loses a little bit of its personal language, but it comes right back. Zamru ladonai chasidav, sing out to God, all you righteous ones, v'hodu lezecher kodsho, and give glory, give grandeur to the recognition of God's holy name. But why? And this comes again to the central idea that there's an emotionality behind this morning prayer. Ki rega be'apo chaim birtzono, because God's anger is but a moment, chaim birtzono, and life is God's will forever. Ba'erev yalin bechi, and at night I lay down crying. V'laboker rina, but in the morning I have joy. V'ani amarti b'shalvi, but I said when I was calm, Baal emot leolam, nothing will ever disturb me. That clearly isn't true if I lay down crying. Things will disturb me when I feel less settled. Adonai birtzoncha he'emarta leharri oz. God, I am a fountain of strength. I'm a mountain of strength when you are with me. Histarta fanecha hayiti nifhal. But when you hide your face from me, I am undone. I tremble. Which means when I feel all alone in my darkest places, when I am feeling the abyss, when I feel the darkness of night encroaching even when it's daylight, I can be a tower of strength when I know you're there. But when I feel all alone, it's different. And that feeling all alone is what I believe is behind this psalm. Listen to where it goes. Elecha Adonai Ekra, I call out to you, God. Ve'el Adonai Etchanan, and to you, God, I pray, I beg. Ma betza bidomi b'riditi al shachat. What good am I to you in silence, if I am to go down into despair? Shachat is another word for grave. That death, that sleep is just a rehearsal for, is a place where I cannot praise you, God. And when you turn away from me, that's how I feel. Perhaps I would say the author of the psalm is also saying, when I turn from you, I feel that, and so let me turn back to you. Shema Adonai v'choneni, Adonai hayeh ozer li. Hear me, Adonai, and grace me. Give yourself back to me. Adonai hayeh ozer li. God is a help to me. Be a help to me. And here is the punchline of the psalm itself. Hafachta misvedi lemacholi. You overturned my sadness to comfort me. Pitachta saki. You opened up my clothing, the mourning clothing, the signs of mourning. Vata azreni simcha. And you gave me joy. Leman yizamercha chavod v'lo yidom. In order that I may cry out your song, your glory, and not be silent. Adonai Elohai le'olam odeka. God, my God, forever will I praise you. Now we say this every morning. And the truth is, when you look at Psalms, when you look at all of the prayers of the Siddur, sometimes it can become one more litany after one more litany of words like praise, praise, praise. But if you think about the emotion behind the author of these Psalms, if you think about those who organized our prayer book, giving us the structure to experience our emotions constantly, consistently, giving us words for the despair that we feel, calling us ritually to acknowledge it every day, such that when the sun actually comes up, we are more prepared to greet it. Because if we are prepared to greet it, that means we are mindful and attuned to the universe, and perhaps then we can know, we can feel, we can sense all around us that God's face is turning back toward us as well.